Did Star Wars rip off Dune? I've been a huge fan of both Dune and Star Wars for decades. These are two of the most influential sci-fi worlds ever created, and today we're diving into a question fans have debated for years. Did Star Wars rip off Dune? So let's break it down fairly by looking at both sides. So the case for, well, the similarities are very hard to ignore. They both have desert planets, Arrakis versus Tatooine. They both follow the narrative of the Chosen One, Paul Atreides versus Luke Skywalker. They both have mystical powers, the Bene Gesserit versus the Force. They both are about galactic empires, political intrigue, and have an enigmatic, mysterious emperor. Even the shows both contain moisture farming. Frank Herbert, the writer of Dune himself, wasn't shy about noticing the similarities. He once said, "I've kind of been amused by some of the Star Wars parallels," which seems like a polite way of saying, "I see what's going on here." Some fans argue that Star Wars simplified and repackaged a lot of Dune's deeper, more complex ideas into a more accessible space fantasy. Section 2. The case against Star Wars copying Dune. George Lucas didn't just draw from Dune, he pulled inspiration from a ton of sources. Samurai films by Akira Kurosawa, Flash Gordon serials, mythology, and real history, as I've touched on in my other videos. He also looked at Western and World War II films. So while Dune has influenced it, it wasn't the only ingredient. Also, the tone and purpose of the two stories are very different. Dune is dense, philosophical, and political, often a warning about power and messianic figures. Star Wars is a fast-paced, hopeful adventure about good versus evil. A lot of my friends who are fans of both actually talk about how they have the opposite messages. They say Dune questions heroes and Star Wars celebrates them, which I think is very interesting and definitely something to get into in another video. So, in my opinion, Star Wars definitely borrowed elements from Dune, but it also transformed them into something entirely on its own, which is quite common in storytelling. Great creators remix ideas, they don't create in a vacuum. So, at the end of the day, whatever your opinion, I think they're both absolutely amazing in their own right. But how about you? What do you think? Did Star Wars rip off Dune? Thank you for watching.